Oh yeah, welcome to DocWob TV. This episode we are balls deep and getting ready for VMXdN Foxhill, Farleigh, all those events. It's a lot of work, and every year I say I won't do it, but every year we do it again. So this year we're going to reuse a couple of the Yamahas that we ran before, the Osborne one and the Villopoto bike. So every year we have to have a different aesthetic, if you like, because people just bored seeing the same things over and over again. How do we give it, oh, here's this year's builds, if they look the same as last year's builds? No good. So we've gone for black. We will show you the graphics in another episode. So we've gone for black frame, black tank, gold rims, and then the rest of the bike is just going to have a regular week in, week out rebuild. This is what we used to do as a factory mechanic. Every week, bare frame the bike, on a Sunday usually after the race, Supercross, Monday after the outdoor nationals or Grand Prix. So you basically bare frame it, then you rebuild the motor. So that'll have a new piston, new clutch. We'll measure up the big end and make sure it's all good to go. Suspension will be serviced, grease the linkage, grease the steering bearings, and basically clean the carb, just clean it all up, put it back together. So we lay everything out, not because we don't know where it all goes, because we could build it out of a bucket if we wanted to, but basically a lot of the job in between races is inspection, making sure that nothing's rubbing, nothing's cracked, nothing's doing anything it shouldn't do. So yeah, we wash the bikes, but then we take them apart, wash them again properly. So we start off, lay it all out, see where you're at, all the nuts and bolts get laid out. We do put all the tie nuts and bolts in a tumbler, and that polishes them up overnight, which looks great. So we'll just service everything up really, make sure there's no cracks, nothing's breaking, new oil in the forks, new oil in the shock, obviously all new fluids throughout. The frame, the first job is to, that was a blue frame last year, so now we just paint stripper it because it's too much if it gets blasted and whatever, so we just paint stripper it, get it back to bare metal, have a good look around all the joints, all the bits and pieces we've welded on. Then it goes for powder coat. We do the same as we always do, grind the powder coat off all the mounts, chase the threads through, make sure they're clean, and then just start putting stuff back together. Just start cleaning up like brand new. Nothing's too beat up, but just a little bit of green Scotch Brite by hand in the parts washer, because if you want it to look like a 90s bike, that's how you have to do it. We didn't have vapor blasters back in the 90s.
I wait for someone to save. I want to tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while.
Big part of the bike's always the wheels. For this colour scheme we're going to go gold rims, so Talon hooked us up, sent us up 4 sets of gold rims. I rebuilt them, the spokes were good to go, we didn't have to cut them out. They'd only done one race really, so a couple of practice sessions. So I rebuilt the wheels, new bearings, new set of Michelin Starcross 6s. These are built with tubes because we're still 2 months out from the race. We don't know what the weather's going to do, and also we will have brand new tyres delivered like the week before the race, so they're as new as they can be. And also we'll run mousses, and you don't want to put the mousses in too early because they'll shrink. So for now on the builds, they got tubes in. We will run them with mousses with a tyre that is befitting the conditions. But for now, they just got Starcross 6s in just to get them running and rolling around and get them built. So we're on with the builds. We're hoping to have these bikes ready to go. Graphics on them, covers over, and we'll start using them for a bit of promo. Engineers over here. Where's my coffee anyway?
I thought you wanted me to come in.
No. So this is a new build. This is the 94 Chesterfield YZ250. The guy's buying this and he's racing out of Foxhill, so we've got to make sure that she's done in plenty of time. We're not a million miles away now. We'll have the motor built next week, I'm hoping. The clamps are all in, the front end forks, that's always a biggie because making that more modern stuff fit these older bikes is always a mission. Wheels are built, The shocks are all away at John O'White's case, getting serviced up because I haven't got the tools or the know-how to do Ohlins. So he's your man for them. So, like I say, linkage is done, frame's done, plastics are all here, graphics are all here. We're pretty much cracking on with these now. I know they don't look it. Tanks will get powder coated after everything else is built, just to make sure that nothing needs moving, denting, recutting. We daren't. They should be fine, they always are, but it won't take 2 minutes to powder coat it black when it's done. So this one is a 1993 Chesterfield YZ250 Donny Schmidt bike. Big job again, conventional forks, gold upper tubes, billet clamps. Hard work they are, but they do look great. I don't know if I'd want to use them. I suppose they work good. They work good enough. They just look cool because that's what they're supposed to have. And you know, we race them with upside downs, but the conventionals is the way to go for the display bike. This one is supposed to be going to California to go on display, but we'll wait and see whether that actually happens. But it's got the billet linkage and the hubs and wheels been done. So the motors will be built. These are not priority. This one's not priority. If it gets built for Foxhills to be on display, happy days. If it's there, we'll get Damon Bradshaw to do a parade lap on it. If it's not, it's not. So we've got a few more things in the pipeline yet. We might have to build one more Yam race bike yet. We don't know. So we're into the new builds. We've got a couple of new builds on the go. This one's for Alessio Chiodi. This one's for Andrew Short. So the Chiodi bike's just waiting on the cylinder and the shock to come back from case. So the cylinders come back yesterday from Pro Circuit, so I'll show you those. This is ready to go in the colour scheme we're going to be running. I'll show you the graphics next episode. These things are trick. These things are really cool. So these two cylinders just come back from Pro Circuit. Mitch Payton handed the cylinders. He was on the phone to me at midnight asking me a couple of questions about bits and pieces. So I know he's done them. They will be really, really good. They'll have to run on VPC12 from now onwards because they're going to be, with the compression, they'll detonate to shit otherwise. And you see this little spacer, we have to run a spacer underneath the spark plug so the plug sits in the right position. So the head's been done to run on C12, cylinder's been done. Mitch will do two different jobs on cylinders. He'll do a race team job, which is just the bit that needs doing, or he'll do a customer job, which is he cleans up all the inside of the ports. So when the customer gets the cylinder back, they're like, oh, this looks great. If you actually see a race team cylinder that's been done, it doesn't look that much different. It's like, we haven't touched much of it. They only do what they need to do. So these have been done by the man himself. We'll match them with the popper pipes, silencers, and then we'll go out. We've got pretty good ideas on jetting settings. We've done them for a couple of years, so we know close to what we're going to do. Obviously the weather's going to change by then. But if we can get these two cylinders on these bikes this week, we're really going to be cracking on. We want these bikes done 2 months before the event, so we can use them for promotion. We can go and try them, we can test them, we can run them in, we can get Stephen Clark to come put some time on them, hopefully. And we might have another one we're yet to build. We've got to figure out what Damon Bradshaw is going to ride for parade lap. We're yet to hear whether Villopoto is going to race. He wants to race the normal Super Evo class, so we'll see whether he wants in there. We have got word that Gautier Paulin wants to come, and if so, it's supposed to be on a Yamaha, so that could be a last minute build. And Chiodi has gone for the VMXdN class, so he's in the team race with David Guarneri and another Italian team headed by David Philipparts. So we've got a lot of Italians, a lot of good Italians coming, world champions. He's chasing the competition, Alessio. He wants to go out there and get in the thick of it, so we've got to build him a good bike, and I think we've ticked that box so far. Oh, can I have to wake me up in a minute? So this is another YZ250. It's a new build for Andrew Short this year. He's a new guy on the American team for VMXdN Foxhill. We're a lot further on with this than it looks, I know. The hubs and the fork tubes are coming back from Ceramax. Ollie Benton's got those. We've got to pick those up tonight. So we can have wheels in this tomorrow. Shock, again, is off being serviced by Jono. Cylinder's here now from PC, so we can put the studs in the cylinder, put the cylinder on. Fork tubes again, Ollie Benton Ceramax, so we can build the forks with the billet feet. This thing's a lot more on than it looks, so no dramas, 2 weeks, we should be firing this thing up. I forgot to mention the jet ski plug cap, how cool is that? On these, we had these in the 90s, these were really cool. These were actually a Kawasaki jet ski plug cap, so if you want it to be waterproof, you can't beat a jet ski one. So this part goes, the plug holds that on, the plug bolts down through it, then the cap goes on and you want a cable tie around it so it's not coming off. A little bit overkill, but we did it back in the day, and that's what we're doing now. So anyway, so that's 6 bikes in here, all on build. This workshop's full. We do have one more, let me show you. So this one's the 7th YZ250 we're building for this year's event. This one is actually an 01 YZ250. We're building for a guy called Leon Caps, super nice guy. He's Ryan Villopoto's man friend, and he's the reason why Ryan comes. So we built him an RM last year and he hurt his shoulder, so we sold it. And then he's looking for a bike for this year, Foxhill Farleigh. So I went through the cupboards and I realised I had this 01 250 that we've been robbing bits off. Bit of a weird story with this one. I felt a bit of an idiot, if I'm honest. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, which is always a bit sketchy. And pictures, it said it was advertised as an 01 YZ250, but I looked at it and I'm like, that's an 02. So I'm like, he don't know what he's got, this bloke. So I bought it, sent Darren to go and pick it up. He bought it back. Turns out it's an 01 with all 02 tank, 02 plastics, cable tied to it and self-tappers, and I'm like, oh shit. So it just got took apart and shoved in a box, and we've robbed a couple of bits off it since then. So now, speaking to Leon, we're going to build this 01 up for him. So at least it's up on its wheels, it's built, it's a physical bike, it's not just a bag of bits anymore. So we've done all right. We found some kit forks for it. So it'll have our clamps, kit forks. We've already rebuilt the wheels with new Talon black rims, Sunstar sprockets, new discs they'll have. Subframe's been repaired where it got self-tappers put in it. The frame's off to be powder coated silver because this one's actually going to be, because it's a 96-01 shape, we've got all those different bikes to pick from. So we've gone for Talon Volan 98 look, which is blue with silver, Rinaldi bike, beautiful bike. So the frame's off to be done silver, and then the motor's ready to go. So this will be at Foxhill and Farleigh. It's not going to be as expensive as build as the other ones, but it'll be right. So it'll be good. So the swing arm on this 01 is going to be, it's a lot of work. When we bought it, it was powder coated black, which means, yeah, you can get the powder coat off, but it means the whole thing's been blasted like heavy. You're like, so to bring the extrusion part back to be shiny looking, we do re-blast the cast section because that's how it's supposed to look, but we hand polish this. But these swing arms, they're 20-something years old. So there's always tracks where the hoses have been, and this here is filled in where the front chain slipper goes over, and it just gets dirt underneath it. Oh, upside down. Just gets dirt underneath it and chafes around. So we get Martin, our welder, to fill it in for the weld, re-grind it back and re-blast it. We re-grind it here. Somebody has polished this swing arm within an inch of its life, so there's hardly any weld left. So we go over the welds again. There's a big dent there, which has now been filled in. A little scratch there, which has been filled. So it needs to be ground and then polished. It's probably a day's work to get the swing arm back to usable condition. So that's it for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it does help. However Danny puts those things. So there's 7 bikes on build. They're all going to be ready for the end of August. This is going to be a bit of a challenge, but we'll get there. We'll get there, I'm confident. We should be ready on the bikes in the other workshop within a month. Then this might take a bit longer, but it doesn't matter as long as it's done. So Andy Willits is helping us with this one because he's good friends with Leon, and so he's doing a lot of the work on this one for us.